course, the NBA is over USA basketball. That's one thing that's a issue with why we don't have the best 3-on-3 athletes in the world in Paris. And they have this weird point system that they make these players go through, but they don't make the NBA players go through it. So we feel like they should have the big three players in the Olympics. We do have the best 3-on-3 players in the world, and it's not even close. I mean, we're so confident, Pat, that we want to challenge the gold medal winners to a game. We can play right before our championship game in Boston, August 18th. We'll fly them in, and they can play against our all-stars, and we'll see who's the best in the world. But
okay, sweet. I'll put up $100,000 to the winning team. I'll put up $100,000 to the winning team.
That's what I'm saying. Come on, baby.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Your boy JT here. I got Dub here with me. Together we make up in the arena. So we've already given you the Olympics roundup. We talked about track and field, swimming. We didn't talk about badminton or trampoline or anything like that. But listen, we're excited about that stuff too. But a question I got for you, Dub, and a question I got for the world who's watching right now. We all know how dominant USA basketball is. Now, of course, we've had a few down years. You had the Redeem team that got us back after we could only finish with a bronze years ago. You had the Dream Team of the 90s with so many Hall of Famers and just excellence, the GOAT playing on that team. And we got our team right now. I don't know if they got a nickname, but they're going to win gold. I don't care what nobody got to say, bottom line. But a question I got, Dub. Why are we so terrible at 3-on-3 basketball? Now, mind you, the women's team features Haley Van Lith, former LSU point guard who is now playing at TCU. And the men's team features Jimmer Fredette, sensation from the NCAA tournament years ago. Short stint in the NBA. What was that?
I think he played for Creighton.
Creighton or BYU? I can't remember who Jimmer was with.
BYU.
I think Jimmer was at BYU. Did his thing. Played, I think, for the Kings, a couple other teams for a few years. Has had a very successful international career, but is one of the greats at 3-on-3 basketball, from what I've read and what I've heard. But for some reason, we are not the best at 3-on-3. And Dub, I know you and I have kind of talked about this offline. What is the deal? Like, first off, one of the thoughts I have before you get into yours, how do we even choose these teams? Like, 3-on-3 basketball, half-court basketball, as it's played in the Olympics, 3-on-3 is a half-court game. I think it's a timed game, so I think there's a certain amount of time on the clock. We'll put the rules up here. But it's played all across the states. I know I play half-court basketball 3 to 4 times a week. How did we select these teams is the question I have, because looking at the liabilities that Haley Van Lith had on defense in the NCAA tournament for LSU last season, and some of those same liabilities have showed up on defense in the first 2 games in the Olympics. So how do we even end up here? What are your thoughts on it, Dub?
Well, let's even take another step back. How the hell did 3-on-3 basketball become an Olympic sport or an event, Olympic event? That's what we need to start at and understand why that happened. And we had a conversation about this. It's because we're so superior in 5-on-5 that they have to find some type of way to make it somewhat competitive in the sport of basketball.
Exactly.
Does it help give more exposure to the sport of basketball? Yes, it does. But it also doesn't showcase the great talent that we have in the United States with that 3-on-3 team.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, I don't know how the hell they selected the team, but they selected those athletes. And honestly, I can say that we can go and look at the top 3 or 4 males basketball players in the Big 3, the league that's owned by Ice Cube, take those players, throw them in the 3-on-3 tournament. This is what those guys do.
They cooking that USA team.
So why not bridge that relationship? Because the NBA is the feeder into the 5-on-5 basketball team. So why not let the Big Three be the feeder into the 3-on-3 teams for the Olympic event?
Exactly.
I don't know. And it could be a form of control from the NBA where, you just don't have the options to pull from the Big Three because of their relationship. It's like oil and water. It seems like there should be a partnership there because what you're doing is trying to showcase the sport of basketball. And when people watch Big Three, they're going to watch the NBA too. It keeps the buzz going. These are retired NBA players or even active players that are free agents are playing Big Three basketball. So, case in point, man, this should not be a sport in the Olympics, but if we're going to make it a sport, right, or an event in the Olympics, let's be competitive. Let's get the best of the best out there so we can win those medals.
Right. And to your point, I mean, you have a situation where primarily and I don't think it's on NBA basketball. It's on USA basketball, which is the sanctioning body that players go through to make the teams. I think Grant Hill is the GM or the person in charge of USA basketball at the moment, I want to say. And maybe that's just for the USA men's team that he's in charge. I'm not sure. We'll have to look at the titles. But to your point, you've got current NBA stars in representing the national team. You already have under 16, under 18, all of these other teams where college players can play. You got to, all of that. To me, to your point, you have a league of retired NBA players who most are still better than most basketball players in the world outside the NBA. If you want to win medals, why not pull those guys? Joe Johnson, ISO Joe. Okay, he probably can't play in the NBA right now as he's gotten older, but in a 3-on-3 game, I don't think as many guys from other countries that are guarding Joe Johnson. Mike Beasley. I was telling Dub, I just saw Mike Beasley in the airport on Tuesday. Mike Beasley is a legit 6'10", 6'11". He's got to be. I mean, he's huge. And regardless of the politics of why he's not in the NBA, Mike Beasley is one of the best ISO players in the world. In the world, Craig. Like, nobody's guarding Mike Beasley. Straight up. It's not happening. So, and big shout out to Mike Beasley. But, and again, the politics of why he's not in the NBA, whatever, I don't care about. But we care about medals, especially gold medals. You want a gold medal, you got a pool of talent from a league that plays half-court 3-on-3 basketball called the Big Three. Why are none of those guys representing the team? Well, Jimmer for that is cool, but he's not holding the torch to some of those guys in the Big Three. And maybe he could be the fourth man, because I think the team has 4 or 5 people. I don't know how the subs work, but again, like I said, we'll put the rules up here. But it only makes sense that the Big Three is a feeder to, as far as I know, there's not an age limit. So why wouldn't you want these guys that are still elite NBA level caliber guys who just aren't going to compete in today's league? Because some of the guys, to your point, Doug, that are in the Big Three, it's not that they can't play in the NBA. The NBA has changed since they came in, and they can't play in today's NBA, but they can still play internationally if they wanted. They choose to play in the Big Three. So we need to do a better job. Hopefully we can still medal, but right now it's looking very bleak for both the men's and women's 3x3 teams.
Yep, I agree. I have nothing else to add, bro.
Let us know your thoughts. It's perplexing to me. It makes perfect sense to Dub and I. But let us know your thoughts. Maybe we tripping. As always, we always need something from you. I need that Mercedes-Benz treatment, that CLS. Comment, like, subscribe. We'll be back with more from me in the arena.